Hello, this is Penniwhistle, and while we're waiting for mana traders to send me some cards so I can play some Magic, they're currently very busy, let's do a deck tech. This is my mono black devotion list that I brewed with the help of my friend Gardy in the past 2 days while we were waiting for the format to launch. Now since then, Gardy has shown me another list that takes it in a different direction that I might try out, we'll see, but I wanted to stick with what I came up with first of all. Because, well, you know, pride. So notably, I'm playing 3 Urborgs, 4 Mutavaults, sorry, not Manavaults, and no Nykthos. I don't have anything huge to ramp into, don't have any huge mana sinks. I believe the colourless from Nykthos is going to hurt me more than the benefit it can provide in this deck. Now, the version I saw was running Nykthos and also running Torment of Hailfire, I think it's called. Torment of Hellfire? The black X spell that makes them discard things or lose life or sacrifice things. That deck looks fun, I certainly want to try playing it. This version, however, much more aggressive. The standard deck at the time did run Mutavault, I want to try that as well. Urborg makes it black. We also have a playset of Castle Locthwain, because especially with the Urborgs in the deck, I can't see it really being a downside at any point. After that, I want to curve out, so we have Knight of the Ebon Legion as our 1-drop creature. This thing can win the game by itself, it's a horrific beater. It's a nice little mana sink, that ability. I think it's a very cool addition to, well, the creature deck. We have 1 Duress and 3 Thoughtseize otherwise. They're great turn 1, they're less good when you're top decking. But if the opponent has any cards in hand, then, well, they're always pretty good then. Into the 2-drop slot we have Pack Rat. Pack Rat wins games by itself. Loses awfully to board wipes is what you need to watch out for, however. We also have Gifted Aetherborn. I needed some life gain in the deck for these chappies down here. They're also black, they kill anything they hit, so seems like a fine addition. In the 3-drop, we've got the traditional Nightveil Specter. You can play the lands that you exile from the top of their deck if you need their lands in order to cast their spells. It's a card advantage engine, helps you hit your land drops. We've only got 23 in this deck, and we do have 5 drops we want to cast, so yeah, the ability's not the best. Like Thief of Sanity is a better card, for example, for this kind of card advantage, however, it's also blue, so. Then we have a new card, Ayara. Is that how you pronounce it? Ayara? Ayara, First of Locthwain. Triple black for Gary over here. Whenever she or another black creature enters the battlefield under my control, I drain the opponent for 1. More pings for the Deathless Knight. Her ability also lets you turn creatures that are about to die into more cards. We have the 4-drop slot, we have a quadruple black card. There is also the Orzhov one that can be given lifelink and indestructible. I will probably test with that card as well, it also seems very good. However, we've got 3 of these for now. I could go up to 4. It's also just a 4/2 haste. I thought that perhaps 3 would be the right number, given Desecration Demon has, well, 1 it's a 6/6, 2 it gets bigger and forces your opponent to sack things if they don't want to die, and it has flying. We know Desecration Demon works in this deck, so I wanted to have a playset of these and then test these out in the meantime. We also have 3 Ravenous Chupacabras. I think this is going to be the Flametongue Carvu of the format. I think if creatures have got to be of a certain value, otherwise Ravenous Chupacabra just kind of ruins their deck. Hopefully, anyway. Of course we have Gary. Drain them to death. I did debate, well, at some point I'll probably make a Panharmonicon version of this deck as well, at least if it's fun enough, because I want to kill people with 1 Gary, not 2. Then the sideboard, we have 2 more Fatal Pushes for aggro decks. Well, I say more. 2 Fatal Pushes for aggro decks. An extra Duress for control or burn. Collective Brutality and Moment of Craving for burn, especially creature-heavy variants of it. Against a burn deck, I could well be casting Collective Brutality for all 3 modes. We have a whole playset of Ashiok, turns off graveyard decks, turns off things that care about searching for cards. We have 2 Whip of Erebos for mid-rangey decks where we want to rebuy our creatures, and 2 Gontis for control and mid-range matchups where they've got really good spells we might want to play. Alright, I will see you in game 1. Let's hope it goes well. Right, oh, you have an opponent already, that was quick. And we even won the dice roll, perfect. And our first hand looks eminently playable. Gonna lead on Urborg so I can play my knight. Let's see if I can remember the stops. I've been playing Arena too much. Not the stops, the shortcuts. Oh, we're immediately up against the Teferi deck, perhaps? I'm guessing that's an opt that he is leaving up. I say he, I should say they. That's much more accurate. Well, let's get a combat. There we go. No path to exile in this format, so... Yep, there's the opt. Now, there are wraths in this format. There are 2 4-mana wraths, in fact. There's Supreme Verdict, and there is... what's it called? Kaya's Wrath. Although, we've just ruled out Kaya's Wrath, I believe. So, how much do I want to commit to the board, is the question. I think we're going to play out 1 Nightveil Specter, but then we're going to leave it there. I think we're going to keep the second one in hand, considering we can start using Mutavault. So let's go to combat. Let's see whether the opponent is going to... Well, I don't think there is a 1-mana white removal spell in the format, so... Let's play out a Spectre. Oh, I can add black or black. Excellent. We now have the mana for Castle Locthwain as well, so... No Teferi turn 3, that is a good sign. Cool, play out another castle. I can go all in on pumping the knights, but if they have a 2-mana removal spell, that makes that a little bit worse. So... I can't believe they have nothing. And I do have the extra land to get back up to 4. Yes, let's go with animating Mutavault. It means they don't have to use their removal spell on Knight this turn if they do have like a... What's it called? It's not Searing Spear. Well, Searing Spear is legal in this format, isn't it? Lightning Strike is the new card. I believe Searing Spear was in Return to Ravnica. It might have been M13, in which case it's not, but... Cool, nothing. We have a Sulphur Falls underneath. We played our land for the turn already. And we get our pump on him. They have nothing, honestly? So this is a Wrath or lose at this point? Not quite lose, they take 6 if they have a removal spell for Knight, but... Yeah, there's the Wrath we thought. Yeah, we'll play this. Let's see if they have 2 Wraths, why don't we? So Teferi isn't the best right now because we can activate Packrat. Yes, we can activate Packrat. Another board wipe. A board wipe does it, to be fair. Well, they're taking a think. Oh, they're paying costs. So little Teferi into a removal. Ah, now we know what they're doing. If they have nothing, I think they're dead. Let's see if they have nothing. The third one, just in case, eh? Equal to the number of rat. That does change it, in fact, because this is another rat, and so even if they kill one, well, if they kill an attacking one, they're still alive, actually. So maybe that was wrong. This is now 8 damage. Yeah, we did get there. Thank you, Packrat. So, we need spot removal. Fatal Push, perhaps. Duress, almost certainly. How much are they going to be searching? Don't think all that much. I already seem to have identified a... because we don't have... this version isn't running Murderous Rider, which is perhaps what we need against this deck if we're not just going fast enough. Fatal Push, I've got to lose something on my turn for it to be able to hit the... whatchamacallit? The Copycat. So... I do like the Thoughtseizes. I think the Chupacabras are not great. But I also think the Fatal Push isn't great. No, let's just not play the Fatal Pushes. Let's go down on the Chupacabra to put in the Duress. Do I want Collective Brutality? Is the bad Duress on it going to be better than 2 Chupacabras? I'm not sure that it will be, especially as it makes Grey Merchant worse as well. It's cool to have identified a weakness so early on. That's why we playtest. This hand is very dependent on Packrat doing well with 2 Mutavaults. And Urborg makes it a very good hand, however. Oh, did they keep 7 as well? I'm going to keep it. I'm going to lean on this being aggro enough. They preserve 2 life. Oh, that's not what we want to see at all. 2 knights could be a hell of a beating, at least. Haha, Declaration in Stone, eh? Cool. Well, so I'm glad they did it now and not later on. I'm also glad they did it on him and not on a Packrat. I'm going to play out the Knight before the Packrat again. Packrat fits in curve-wise here, but this guy just threatens so much, and I can swing with him. They can't use a damage spell on it, at least a burn spell. And then afterwards I can hopefully play Packrat. We are desperate for an Urborg right now. So no Little Teferi, no Saheeli Rai. Or perhaps they're holding a Saheeli Rai. So we're going to combat. Cool, they take it. We're going to play a background now. So now if they board wipe, it's a 2-for-1. We're fairly far behind if they do it. A Braid, yeah. That's a fine spell. That makes the board wipe less likely, but a burn spell now is also going to slow us down quite nastily. Okay, we don't... Well, I say we don't draw cards. I've literally got a card that says so in my hand, but that's one I can... Oh, no land and only found an opt. That's a good sign. That drawing a second one of those is not a good sign, however. So, given they don't have lands, and Narset doesn't dig them towards them, do I want to keep it alive? Given it's only 1 damage... Oh, I could have animated Mutavault. Oh, I missed out there. No, let's not double down on our mistakes. We can make them think we have a card in hand instead. So now they'll kill their Narset if they want to use it. So we could have hit them for 2 with Mutavault. At least we're holding up the Clue token now. So it wasn't entirely a waste. But now, yeah. The static ability isn't a huge issue. However, we do literally... Deafening Clarion, that's another board wipe, isn't it? Are they going to spend their entire turn using it? Or are they going to opt to try and find a land first of all? Nope, they're just going to wipe us. And they're going to hold up their opt, I imagine. Well, this game's certainly going better for them. Okay, so we can play our... There it is. Now, the question is, do we want... How do we say this? Ayara. I need to remember that. Or do we want a Nightveil Specter? I think we're going to start with Ayara, because she's going to proc this as well. Or she's going to proc when this enters play, I should say. Oh, let's do this properly. Let's tap 1 for mana. And animate the other one. Nug them to 14. And I'm not worried about them having a shock up because of how they tapped. And then they opt. So what really hurts here, Big Teferi is a scary card now. We don't have enough onboard pressure. We know their hand is 5 spells, most likely. 4 at minimum. Okay, I'm not so scared of Narset. They're still digging for combo pieces, that means. Which they haven't found. Not yet. At 6 lands, they can combo off, I believe. They play the cat at 4, flicker a land, play the... Okay. Play the Saheeli, activate the Saheeli copy and the cat. So we are nearly there when it comes to losing. That's a fine draw as well. So, Castle Locthwain. Let's tap it like this so I can't screw it up. We are a board wipe away from losing as well, I believe, though. I could hit Narset, however, this attack puts a counter on the knight. If they have no interaction, which is not likely to be fair, they are currently dead next turn. Okay, a Braid is going to be cast on something, I imagine the knight. Bold. So that means they must have 2 removal spells. So I can animate 1 Mutavault and still have Desecration Demon. And I think I want to do that. So let's tap 1. So they know I'm not going for the kill now, this means as well. Okay, a Braid on her. So I can hit them for 4, play Desecration Demon. Or I can hit them for 7 and not play Desecration Demon. I think I'm going to go with the pump option because it makes a board wipe much less scary. It's worse against spot removal, but my Mutavaults alone will be lethal if this goes through. I should have waited until that Braid resolved before using this in case they had another one. Wait until they pass the damage step, I mean. Ah, we could be dead next turn now. Let's see if they've got it. They do need a Saheeli, a cat, and a land. But they are looking at a lot of cards. Looking at even more cards. Well, they're not slamming it. That's step 1 complete. They are currently dead to my Mutavaults. They must have it. They must have it then. Cat. There's the cat. Gonna flicker a land. Oh, they're doing it. They're doing it. They've got the Clifftop Retreat. They've got the Saheeli. Let's see her tick down. Create a token of Philidor. Yeah, I'll concede at that point. I'm not going to make them play it out. Not when I'm on camera. I've got to make myself look good. Got to have my brand on brand, as it were. So these Chupacabras aren't going to do anything by the look of it. So I am going to play these Brutalities. Or am I going to play my Gontis? No, the Duress is just too good. I want to see their hand as well. Having information about their hand is a really big deal as well. And we will go first. Have a Thoughtseize, we have a Collective Brutality, we have a Mutavault to have pressure going forward. We have a Finisher. I like this hand. And I like my opponent mulliganing as well. Thoughtseize informs us whether we should hold Brutality or not as well. So, start with a Thoughtseize. Saheeli, Declaration in Stone, which I believe is a sorcery. Yes. Dig through time. I am going to take their Saheeli Rai. And I'm also going to Brutality them next turn because I want that dig through time. I am not so sold on the deck in stone currently. I can even take it anyway, can't I? Let's play this Mutavault out. And Brutality for the correct mode. I'm going to hold this Thoughtseize because currently I don't care about their Declaration in Stone. Later on I may. Now if they slam like a... Ooh, even more reason not to use it right now. Now this is a target for their deck in stone, which gives... You know, gives me more reason to have not played this Thoughtseize, because I'm not... I mean, it's a 1-for-1 trade, but it gives me a card draw later on as well anyway. Yeah, there we go. And now my Pankrants just get slammed onto the board. Or my Desecration Demons. Notably, they don't have any creatures. Not ones they're going to sack to Desecration Demon anyway. They also don't have blue mana currently. What am I talking about? They've got a Sulphur Falls. Ignore me. I'm not very good at this game. I can... Let's Thoughtseize them first. Oh, I think we're winning this one. They didn't have the blue for it anyway. So now they're in a position where they need many, many things in order to get out of this. I drain them. They're dead if I draw an untapped land now, so... They have a Plains and an Unknown. It's always yield. There's an untapped land. If they have no answers, they die. That's a drain for 7. Yeah, there we go. That was my first game of Pioneer against what I thought might be the bogeyman of the format, with a sideboard that isn't particularly geared to fight against it, I realised. But our opponent kept an awkward hand, we kept a handful of disruption, and we played some creatures and killed them. Well, I will be jumping into another game in a moment, so stay tuned. Here we go, in a match with Fancy Cats. And we're going second in this game, so that'll be a nice comparison to the first game. We have an eminently playable hand. The Mutavault kind of saves it, actually. Sandstep Citadel. Now that implies that they're going to be a curve-out sort of deck, not one that I need to Thoughtseize turn 1. So assuming I don't get something else to fill the curve, we'll be going with Thoughtseize turn 2 instead. And now I don't want to draw any more lands for the rest of the game. Copter, but no creature. Hopefully there is exactly one creature in my opponent's hand. There is not exactly one creature in my opponent's hand, sadly. So the Flare is way more of a payoff. The Wayfinder... well, it's got to be the Flare. It's not really a choice, sadly. Although they are both going to Thoughtseize me and get to Loot a Scooter next turn. So I imagine my Desecration Demon is going. At least we've got these Castle Locthwains to draw later on if need be. Yep. Okay, some good cards in the bin. I'll take an Ishkana not in play, so... Yep, there's my Desecration Demon. Now am I getting scooted? Or is my opponent scared about the attacks? No, they're not. Righty-ho. I don't mind seeing another Mutavault. Although, if I play it this turn... Well, I mean, I do mind seeing another Mutavault. I'd like to see some spells, actually, but... If I play it this turn, I can't cast... I've got 3 and 4 colour drops, actually, in my deck, so... Let's play out these. We're going to pump my Knight. Yeah, like if I drew a Deathless Knight right now, I'm going to be 1 turn away from playing it, whereas I'd be 2 if I played the Mutavault. And either way, I'm not activating Mutavaults while they're tapped out and while I've got a Knight. Where does this start going wrong for me? If they cast Siege Rhino, that would be going wrong for certain. That's a good sign. My opponent's going to see more of their deck, but I'm going to win this race if nothing else happens. I'll take a turn of nothing. So, I think it's the same as last turn, except we're going to wait until the last moment to activate my Knight. Now, again, if they have no interaction whatsoever, they are dead next turn to my Knight slapping them. Yeah, that makes sense. Traverse with 5 types. This is a Siege Rhino, I imagine. That will prompt a concession from me if I draw nothing huge. What can I draw? Deathless Knight doesn't do it. That certainly doesn't do it. So, I want Whip, I want Gonti. I think that's about it. I don't want Duress. And not my 3 drops. I think we've got to cut from the 4 drops somewhere. And I think it's going to be the Deathless Knights because they don't get through rhinos whatsoever. There's an argument for some amount of Ashioks as well. Let's go 2 and cut down on the Nightveil Specters. Turns off their graveyard shenanigans, but it's a little bit of a win more card. We will go first. We will keep a rather good hand. Whipping back a Gonti sounds like an excellent game plan later on. We're not even getting Thoughtseize turn 1, how about it? So that's all the land we need. Well, no, we do have 5 drops in Gary. But we're happy to keep seeing big spells at this point, I think. If they've got push, then... well, they've got push. And yeah, that's fair enough. This still trades with anything in their deck. Well, not the Scooter, I suppose, but... cool. What do we want to see here? A 3-drop. Ashiok wouldn't be awful. I like seeing good cards like that in their graveyard. I don't like seeing more lands in play. More lands drawn, I should say. But we do have Gonti next turn. So what does the Abzan deck play at 3? Oh, Grimflayer isn't 3. Got a Thoughtseize? No. Traverse with 3 types. They do not have more lands in hand, I imagine, but they probably do have a Siege Rhino. Okay, that's not the worst. Let's go to combat, because my opponent probably isn't going to trade. Perfect. And then let's Gonti and hope for a Siege Rhino, I suppose. Ooh, or a Murderous Rider. A Murderous Rider I get to cast the second half of as well. That's a hard one. Because this is just big and beefy and just does everything you need it to, really. But I do like having 2 spells. I'm going to go with the Murderous Rider. Let's be bold. Now, I'll probably block the Grimflayer here. Because having powerful cards like Gonti in the bin is going to be good with Erebos, and I don't want him filling up his graveyard forever and ever and getting to organise the top of his deck forever and ever. I said him again. I should be saying they. Our opponent's thinking, were they to have a Siege Rhino in hand, I would imagine there'd be a lot less of it. Well, combat. Yeah, of course Grimflayer's getting in. So he's still going to get to organise the top of his deck and his graveyard once because of Trample. 3 lands in the bin is ideally what we want to see. All 3 on top. That is a bad sign for me, isn't it? Good old post-combat Smuggler's Copter. Cool. First, let's see if he'll trade his Smuggler's Copter with my Gifted Aetherborn. A very reasonable no. So let's see. You can crew it with Wayfinder, and then sacrifice Wayfinder, and then this will be tapped, but it will be a 7/7. Courser is a very cool card as well, and there's a land drop for their turn. With Rhino on top, which makes a lot of sense. Cool. I will take not getting hit by a Smuggler's Copter any day of the week. Yes. Now, does the Wayfinder go? Thought so. So let's get in with our Aetherborn. And play out another Desecration Demon. We are approaching lethal levels of Grey Merchant as well. They really had the ideal top of their library of those 3 cards, didn't they? Land, land, Rhino. They are going to have 2 triggers now, though, each combat to sack things. And depending on how much they sacrifice. Cool, so I imagine this is for a Murderous Rider, yep. We know they have a Veil on Summer up top now as well. Are they going to kill the tapped or untapped one is also a relevant question. So, if we we'll play the land. If we carry them now, they're going to take 8. The Murderous Rider leaves that at the same amount of damage. But it also... I'm trying to think. So one of them will be dead. They will have to sacrifice to tap down the other one, which they can do with Smuggler's Copter to block my Aetherborn. But if they do that, Mutavault gets through next turn. So I think I like that play. We're not attacking with Mutavault. No, it's 5, of course, not 4. We still have a Murderous Rider. Although we'll know they'll have a Veil of Summer, which does make that Murderous Rider worse. Absent Charm, interesting. So we know they still have a Murderous Rider. They're going to take 6. they do this right, they crew Smuggler's Copter before the Desecration Demon trigger resolves. There we go. And then I'll happily trade this for them getting a loot and Copter dying. Perfect. So they go Rhino, we go Whip, and we can either they sacrifice something or we get in with Desecration Demon. They can't Murderous Rider us right now because they just die to Mutavault and Grey Merchant if they have nothing else. Or Ishkana. That's going to make a lot of blockers. 7 to activate. Okay. Say blockers. A lot of things that they can sacrifice. Cool. So I want to get my whip down. Oh, it's 4 men. 2. I want to go to combat. And I want to get in with Gary, who they can't really kill because they die because of Whip if they do that. Are you sure? Okay then. Whipping Gary back is currently for 7. It can be for 9 as well. I can Murderous Rider and put it into play. So. Yep. Cool, so I can Murderous Rider and Whip now this turn. I am going to go to combat first of all though. I'm happy to slow roll my Grey Merchant. If they block with anything, my knight is going to survive, so. Which they've just realised, it seems. Cool. I can draw off Castle Locthwain, or I can have Murderous Rider up. All the while this mid-range deck now has to get through double the life total it previously had to as well, so... We're going to Murderous Rider. This means if they have no more answers, then Desecration Demon just kills them. Perfect. Let's... So they must have answers. So let's cast my rider. I say my rider, it's not my rider. Let's whip back Grey Merchant. Cool. The same amount of damage is being dealt because of the 2 life you lose from Murderous Rider. Cool. This is still currently 6. Perfect. So, do we want to change anything? Ashiok just might be a bit too little. I'll put in a Nightveil Specter instead. This hand's garbage, which is a shame. However, they're mulliganing as well. We have a turn 1 play. I am terrible at keeping 1-landers. It's really probably the worst thing I do in Magic. I look at this and go, if I draw 2 lands, I'm going to destroy them. When really I need to be thinking whether a 5-land hand would be better. And I think it would be. And I was right. So, one of these back, and sadly Gonti back. One land and Knight is a real threat. 2, and we have Chupacabra, which is a fantastic card. Hey. For a 5-lander, this is almost as good as I could hope for, really. I'll take a Mutavault off the top if I get to pick the next card. Not quite, but it is a castable spell. If they've got Absent Charm, then they're not exiling any of these creatures. And the trigger from Ayara will just about give the Knight the damage it needs. Yeah, lost life, so. Cool. Like, it's not cool, I'd rather they had nothing, but obviously they're going to have something, so. Real heavy on those sand steps, it does. I wonder if this is hurting them. Cool, no more lands the rest of the game, please. Just castable spells. Yep, sure. If they spend their whole turn casting a Murderous Rider, I'll be pretty happy. They have had one land so far come into play, untapped. Yep. I mean, I'm not as happy. But yeah, it's a great card. And if the hand is full of Siege Rhinos, that's when the issues start happening. And this is where that one of Ashiok's looking real bad. Okay, that I can handle. Cool. Gary would be really, really good once I draw one more land then. So I'll tick up here. That turns off a few of their cards. Oh, Gary is so lethal right now as well. Not if they block. Not if they've got spells. That spell gives me Gary though. So what, they get to 10, Gary is 8 currently. What did I exile? I didn't even check. Ooh, lands. And 2 traverse, okay. The spells that wouldn't have worked anyway. So let's do this some more. Cool. At some point I probably want to just leave it in play, but yeah, well. No blocks should mean this is lethal. Come on, come on. Murderous Rider doesn't change the amount of damage you're taking. Yeah, Grey Merchant gets the reach, and that was on a Malta 5 as well. And we still ended the game at 38 life as well. Yes, I'm very much enjoying this deck. Right, let's get in for one more game. I need to turn this off. And we're on the draw again. With a pretty playable hand. It's got a lot of lands in it, but we do have the Urborg. If we just don't draw more lands, we're pretty set. Well, there we go. Against mono red, we do have 2 dragons. One of my favourite cards in Magic. Oh, come on. One of my favourite cards in Magic is Thunderbreak Regent. Let's lose to it, shall we? Now, am I getting Draconic Roared here? I'm not. That's good news. So they don't have Draconic Roar and they also don't have lands. Interesting. Come on. So in our 23 card deck, we've drawn nothing but lands so far after keeping 5 of them. Come on, opponent, let's see some plays. Dragon's Horde. Okay, Pack Rat helped. Oh. I could have attacked with Mutavault there. That was very silly of me. Leave it as a blocker, I suppose. So, if our opponent survives by 2, we all know why. I've not played with Mutavault in so long. I need to stop being bad. Ooh, on the subject of being bad. Ow. Well, that'll help eventually. Don't think we're quite in the territory next turn where we play it just onto an empty board. 5 mana and they still haven't played a dragon, so they don't have Thunderbreak Regent. If they do, they've just drawn it. Sark and Fireblood. Am I hitting him? I'm not sure that I am. He's not looting. Well, there's the Thunderbreak. I would have thought he had it last turn, but oh well. So we're taking, is it 3 or 4? 3. I said it's my favourite card, I should know that. But... okay, Gary is a nice pickup as well. At a games day for, I think it was Oath of the Gatewatch, I was playing Mardu Dragons, splashing blue for Treasure Cruise, because that was the kind of thing you did. And I had 3 of those in play. My opponent was 8. They, I think it was Murderous Cut they played, expecting to take 3, but that's not what Thunderbreak Regent says. It cares about all the dragons. So, yeah, he Murderous Cut one of my dragons, took 9 and died. It's like an F&M, it's the kind of thing I would point out, but seeing as this was games day and, you know, there was prizes on the line, I didn't feel too bad about not letting that rollback go through. What kind of 8 mana abomination? Oh, do we have Dracoseth? No, Lathless. I need a Chupacabra right now, I think. That's not a Chupacabra at all. Ooh. Whenever another non-token dragon creates a 5/5 dragon, jeez. So I play Gary. I think I have to play Gary and just hope I draw relevant spells. Let's cancel this first. This is the one that's summoning sick. This is the one that's not. Cool, I didn't mess it up. We send with both of these. Hopefully they take 2, and then next turn we can hopefully overwhelm them. A shock makes this a terrible attack. Cool, that's very much the wrong one to block as well, which is nice. So 1 dragon gives them all the blockers they need, sadly. Which then leaves us open to Grey Merchant being a kill. Chupacabra being a kill. Deathless Knight being a kill. Well, hopefully attacks. Luckily I've gained enough life that I'm not scared about Nathalys just pumping us to death. Cool, we need a top deck, we need it now. Oh, that's not it. That's not it. Because this has to be blocked, I'll give it one more try. But that's currently 15 damage before pumps. Yeah. Oh, and he can return this as well. I've never seen this spell cast before. Shouldn't just tap through in case he tries to burn my knight. Ooh, more storm breaths, eh? So 3 mana left. So Spit Flame isn't being cast this turn at least. I think I require Mr. Grey Merchant, or I've lost. I mean, the hope is that they over-attack us. That's 19. One pump is 23. Yeah, that's a fine attack, because I'm dead now without him having to pump, without them having to pump us next turn. So, come on, that's not it. Should have attacked to see if they blocked or not, but they would have. So. Fatal Push seems bad, Whip seems good, Gonti seems fine, Duress seems terrible. Nightveil Specter doesn't seem great either. We're very heavy on the 4-drops now. And yes, I would like to play first. This hand is kind of awful. But it does have a Desecration Demon and 2 Chupacabras in it. This is not the kind of hand I should be keeping, I think, but my opponent seems to have a big slow deck themselves. And this does a crap ton of Grey Merchant damage in the end, so... I mean, that's 8 in my hand already. We'll play it this turn. It means no Ayara next turn if I draw it. But it does mean an attack for 2. How scared am I of Draconic Roar? Scared enough, I'm not attacking into it. Because I really need my 4-drop. Like, if this gets burned to death, then that's really bad news. Cool, Sarkhan. I think we are going to hit it. Perhaps there was a world where we lived if we killed it last game, so... Right, Pack Rack is a good card, but it doesn't fit into the curve, sadly. This is well out of the range of traditional burn spells, and even quite a lot of their dragons. If they play a blocker, a Chupacabra, it hits Arcan as well, so. Big dumb dragon without any ETB effects would be perfect. No, I don't want to quickly adjust my audio, I want to play my game. Glorybringer, that's not attacking. That's kind of perfect, no ETBs at all, so. Hey, we even get a Thoughtseize, perfect. So, they did have the Roar, I was completely correct, and I feel so vindicated right now. Dragon's Horde will give them mana. And the other removal spells I'm not sure I care hugely about. Because it's really, really slow and I'll have a Desecration Demon. So we're going to go Dragon's Horde. And then we're going to tube them. Good old Flametongue Kavu. So now they have a bunch of burn spells that aren't particularly great in their hand. Yeah, that's just a concede from them. Cool, hand attack did it. So I just went off on a huge spiel about cutting off the video here, thinking that that match was over. Whoops, game 3. So, I don't think there's any changes for me being on the draw. Fatal Push just doesn't hit almost anything in their deck. I'm not sure I care hugely about their removal spells, so I think we're going to keep it as it is. With their mulligan, I'm going to keep this because of the strength of Thoughtseize and Knight of the Ebon Legion. But which do I lead on is the question. I really do need more lands as well in this hand. I'm going to lead on Thoughtseize because if this knight dies, I do not have a great play coming up. And I did do the right thing. So I take Draconic Roar, my knight lives. I take Dragon's Horde, they don't get to ramp. I take Sarkhan, and their hand doesn't really do anything until they draw multiple cards, which means I think we're going to take the Sarkhan and hope that we draw the 2 lands that this hand kind of desperately requires. So that's all of the land from their hand. I don't know how to dismiss them on here. Good, okay. Mutavault doesn't let me cast a Raya. I'm not going to cast out Knight, they're just going to Draconic Roar it. Perfect, they've not drawn land. So I just need a Swamp or an Urborg is what I'm after. Perfect. Now I play this out and they do get to roar it, so I'm just not going to bother. I want more than the ETB effect and giving them spells to cast. If they do it on Gonti, I'm perfectly happy with that. Perfect. If they kill Gonti, I've already got the card from their deck, so then I will play out Mutavault now. Well, this hand turned out great. I drew cards exactly when I wanted them to. Exactly when I wanted to draw them, so I am going to take their Stormbreath Dragon. So having 4 damage in my pocket will be very nice. So they did draw the land for the Dragon's Horde, but they are very far behind now. I think I just rush out the Stormbreath Dragon now, actually. Or the Deathless Knight. Yes. Because I have 2 Garys. So, they... Oh, they put a shock. That's a good draw for them. Well, it's going back to my hand when I cast Araya at least. So. Next turn I can Araya and Knight, and if I draw a land I can hit them with Mutavault. We do know that they have... Okay, they're probably looting here. So we know they still have Spitflame and Draconic Roar. So we've got to be wary if they leave 2 mana up. Spitflame's gone. So we know they have a Roar still. So I can kill Sarkhan with Stormbreath Dragon. Or with these 2. And if I play those 2, I can still Araya. Yes. So shock is what ruins that line, but we've already seen one and I'm willing to take that risk. Because the Araya also puts the Deathless Knight back in my hand, so... I'm not overly bothered about their life totals at this point, because we have so much drain in hand. Especially with the Araya and the Deathless Knight, so we are not starved for devotion. Cool. Glorybringer presumably kills Araya. It's nice that they can't buy back that Spitflame as well. Cool. So that's not on blocks next turn, so I think we get them. I can't actually cast that, sadly, because this takes so much coloured mana. Ah, that's why we're playing it. If they don't have a blocker next turn, I'm draining them for 8 currently, although we know they have a Draconic Roar. Cool. So we just go Grey Merchant, and that's the game now, I believe. So Lathliss blocks Deathless Knight after, well, she has to. They go to 1. They have 10 damage on board plus however much pump, but we're at 23 life, so. If they wipe our board, we have Grey Merchant to kill them. We have Mutavault to kill them even. Cool. I mean, we have Storm Breath as well. This has been hanging out the whole time. They're holding up Draconic Roar. So this is 14, 17 from Draconic Roar. they know they can't do that, so... Cool. Good game, opponent. Well, this has been a pleasure, everybody. I'm going to have to fiddle with the deck, especially the sideboard. One thing I'm really bad at Magic is making sideboards, and obviously I missed the Saheeli Copycat sideboard cards that I needed. We'll play around the main board as well. I think perhaps the... what are they called? The Nightveil Specter just should be Murderous Riders, in fact, perhaps. You've been watching Penniwhistle. Thank you. I'll be back very soon. If you've enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Like and comment if you've got anything helpful to say. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye.